Okay, we're ready.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Moore, and on behalf of the Center for Functional Nutrition, I welcome you to the Sunday Morning Coffee House. It's been a few weeks, and in those few weeks, we now have daffodils and tulips and grape hyacinths and skunk cabbage in the forest, and everything is absolutely bursting. It was a year ago today on April 12th that we began our coffee house, and it's, as I look at your faces, I'm just, I don't know, I think I'm filled with gratitude for that we, first of all, began this coffee house and that we've gotten to know you all over the last year. It's been, these Sunday mornings have been, I think, helpful for all of us. So Brian, I'd like to hand the coffee house over to you and we can begin.
Well, thank you, Megan, and thank you everyone for joining in. This coffee house connection is only possible because of all of you, and it has been and will continue to be a beautiful place for us to connect, create, and collaborate together to impact lives in our communities and around the world. So thank you all for participating in that and growing something of value. The whole intention of this coffee house, as I was reflecting over the past 12 months, we really put our heads together and we said, what can we do that would bring value to people during this confusing, crazy time? And we just said, well, let's leverage technology. Let's use that to our advantage, and let's create an opportunity for people to share who they are and what they do and add value to people's lives in that way from so many different angles and perspectives. And it's really been such a diverse space for people to shine. And that's been just so wonderful to see. And I'm really excited about today because today is going to be a little different than a lot of our coffee houses, where our extraordinary featured presenter, Janet Edkins, has so many skills. And I just am so excited for everyone to hear her story. But what you'll see is that Janet provides a very unique value to everyone. And it's not necessarily in the form of nutrition or energy or spirituality, but kind of a combination of all things in something physical that everyone can have access to. So I'm just absolutely thrilled to have Janet. I've had the pleasure of getting to know her, I'd say over the past 6 months or so. She's an absolutely beautiful soul. You'll resonate with that, as I'm sure I have. So without further ado, Janet, for those that don't know you, tell us, who you are and what you're up to and what has brought you to our coffee house today. And I know Janet's going to share her screen, so go ahead, Janet. Welcome.
Thank you, Brian. What a lovely introduction. So just a little bit about how I got to the coffee house. I got to the coffee house through Carolyn and Jana and Carol. And I'm so pleased. I've missed a couple of the presentations since I first logged on, and I've really missed it when I've missed it. It's just such a delight to hear everybody's different stories and their talents and their gifts. And I'm honored to be your 1-year anniversary person. That's another delight for this morning. So I will share my screen because I've got a bit of a long story, and I'm just gonna go through the whole thing. So do you see my lovely, colorful presentation? I hope you do.
We're perfect, Janet. Rock and roll.
All righty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Janet Edkins, and I'm primarily right now a jewelry artist. I do have another business, which I will talk about later, but my focus this morning is on my jewelry because I was honored to take a Reiki classes with Carolyn and Jana, and I found that when I make jewelry, they automatically get infused with energy. And so what I started to do then was to be very intentional about what I make and how I make it and how I clear my space, and infusing the pieces with energy when I'm done so that they offer the best and highest good of the person who gets them. And for me, this is a fabulous win-win, because I love to do this stuff and I love the energy and I love the idea that I'm doing something for people without actually having to be a hands-on healer, which is not really my thing. But this is a thing, and I'm super stoked about it. So I get my, oh, there you go. I get my creativity, I think. I mean, yes, there's a universal energy to it, but I get my creativity. These are my two grandmothers standing on the shore in the east coast of England with their feet in the water. And they did this regularly, and they just stood like this and talked. And it's a precious memory. The taller lady is my father's mother, and she was the seamstress. She could turn her hand to make anything. And what she did as a young woman was make this kind of, she did finishing work. She had very fine needle skills, and the woman she was apprenticed to taught her how to do this kind of beaded work. And I knew this as a girl. It did not come into my way of being for many years. Many years. So this is me and my husband when we got married 23 years ago. We met in theatre, amateur theatre. And in amateur theatre, I turned my hands to anything. I built sets, I painted pictures, I made curtains, I recovered furniture. I've even been known to make clothes. And in 1998, Chris and I moved to Dallas. If you'd have told me 25 years ago that my life would take this trajectory, I would have scoffed at you openly. There's nobody more surprised by where I am now than me, I promise you. So we lived in a beautiful apartment in Dallas. We used to go downtown and have dinner at Reunion Tower. We used to have beautiful sunsets. And I took the opportunity of not having a work visa, of going back to college. And the very last class I took in a 2-year associate's degree, I needed one more class. I found HTML. I didn't really know what it was. And my head exploded, because what this does, I'm more or less 50-50 left and right brain. And what this gave me was a structured coding, very precise way of making beautiful images, which I have to tell you, just literally blew my mind. But that was at the end of a 2-year stint. And we came to America literally just for a 2-year adventure. And we packed up and went back to the UK. And then we came back to Chicago because, well, just because. We spent about 3 or 4 months in the UK. Chris was trying to find a job that would be satisfying to him. And somebody he worked with in Dallas offered him basically a job in Chicago. And so we turned around and came back in the middle of December to 2020, which, if any of you have experienced a culture shock, I cannot even begin to describe the difference between Dallas and England and Chicago in the winter. I don't even have words for it. My joy in living in Chicago, even though I hated most of it, was taking a painting class in the Chicago Botanical Gardens. This is what the Zen garden looks like in winter. And I found something that just spoke to my soul. I've done lots of different kinds of painting with the black ink on a white paper with a little red symbol. This is called a chop. This is my chop. And discovering that my initials in one of the versions of Chinese stand for luck and inner joy was, again, it's all meant to be. It's all part of the journey. It's all completely surprising to me. The revelations that I've had. What happened in Chicago was, of course, I still didn't have a visa. So I went back to college to finish up all the HTML that had so fired my creativity. And I took what was then called 20 years ago, a web certificate. And I found someone who would work with me to develop a website when I was in my final stages before we got our green card. And before I knew where I was, I had a business as a web designer, because this lady, who is actually still my client 23 years later, Christine found me 2 clients when I got my green card. I worked with them, and then she put me onto somebody else, and they put me onto somebody else, and they put me onto somebody else, and suddenly I had a business. And I carried on with my artwork in the background, but my joy was in creating websites from structured code. So moving on, goodness me, I think we were in Chicago about 2.5 years. And then Chris got offered a job at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, at their School of Veterinary Medicine, which is this place that's an artist's rendition. It's a big sprawling place, but it's beautiful. It has gardens all around it. This is downtown Knoxville in the sun, in a sunset, which, oh, one of my favorite views. And so we bought a house and got some cats and settled down. And we're not still in this house, but we're still in Knoxville because it's just such a delightful place to live. And I found my tribe. Again, unasked for, unlooked. The universe just said, this is what you need. And I am eternally, eternally, eternally grateful. So this seems like an odd twist of fate, but what happened with the Japanese ink painting, it's very unforgiving. It doesn't allow you to go back and fix mistakes. So if you're working on a largest piece and 80% of it is good, and then you mess up, then you've messed up. There's no going back. So what I started doing was cutting pieces of pictures out of spoiled bigger pieces and making them into cards, and making cards turned into drying flowers and making other cards. And I actually at this point don't remember how I got to the beads, but these are all little tiny beads that I made into little tiny flat designs that you could put on a greeting card and send it through the mail. And I did this for quite a long time and always said that I didn't make jewelry. I had no particular interest at this point in time in making jewelry. And then a friend of mine introduced me to some vintage buttons. And I fell in love with them and wanted to do something with them. So I made jewelry for reasons I can't actually explain to you. The interesting thing for me in this particular part of the journey was there was so much I didn't know. There were skills I did not have. So I basically made things up. And my friends, my creative friends around me would marvel at the things that I did, the workarounds I found, because I didn't actually know how to do some of the things I wanted to do. I made it up as I went along. And it's been an expanding journey of learning different techniques ever since. And what happened after the buttons, and I gave them all, like, this is the great door, like the great door of China, and this is called black bamboo. This one ended up as a sunflower. I called this one the go button. And when I first started out, every piece I made had a name, and they just popped into my head. I'm not bragging here, but these days I'm so prolific, most things don't get a chance to get a name. Then I moved on to stones, and this just catapulted me into a whole new level. Stones are different. When I handle them, I don't feel the energy, but I sort of feel like I know what they want and what goes together and how to make something work. So this piece, the gold piece here, is actually a piece of black kyanite that's been dusted with gold, 24 karat gold. And the kyanite itself, they're all very odd shapes. And so you have to get creative to make the surround fit the stone. And sometimes a stone's a picture, so I carry the picture into the stones around it. This is a seashell that's been cut down the middle. And so you get to see the spiral on the inside. So all of these things become a beautiful challenge to me to find a way to show them off and make them secure and make them wearable, make people feel comfortable that they can put it on and not worry about it. All my cards that are, all my pieces that are stones come with a little card that tell you basically what the stone or the crystal does. And I have to say, again, this is another part of some sort of divine inspiration, because all the stones do an amazing number of things. They will help with any number of issues and concerns. And what I've been finding is somebody picks up a piece, they buy it, they look at the card and say, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I needed. Even though I've boiled down maybe 2 full pages of information into what is really just a very brief paragraph and statement. But again, I love doing that. I love the research. I love finding out what they all do and what help and support they can provide to people. So this is a piece of picture jasper. This is black kyanite. These small stones here are imperial topaz. They're a sort of beautiful pinky translucent orange. This is rose quartz pyramid. You can't see that in this particular image, but I call these accelerators because you can turn that point inwards to your heart and really feel the infusion. This is a beaded piece of sacred geometry. This is a Merkaba, and this particular one has iolite on the points. I already talked to you about the Reiki. I'm Reiki level 2. Something I found a couple of years ago were images called accelerators by a gentleman called Brian DeFlores, and they are really powerful. This one is called the Angel Seal, and I have a copy of this over my work table and also a copy of it under the mat. When I'm working, I work on a beaded mat so that I can find all the beads, and I keep this underneath the mat so that my work is being infused with constantly with the energy, not only from my hands, but from my connection to what I feel is my connection to source. And then finally, I spent the last year in quarantine, lockdown, or whatever we want to call it. I spent a lot of time in meditation. I spent a lot of time working on myself. I spent a lot of time working on my beads. And about 2 months ago, it suddenly came back into my awareness that I should concentrate on my website business. There are a lot of healers and creatives out there who need to be in the new paradigm, which is online. And I can help them do that in a way that I believe is heart-centered, that can match their business, get their business to the next level, and get them out there so that the people who are searching for support, help, awareness, whatever it is, so that they can be found, so that we can all be part of the new paradigm that is coming into being right now. And I believe that is me. That is supposed to go back to the beginning, but never mind. There we go. let me go back to there. There you go. So thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Janet. Would you mind just clicking the stop share so that we can all see each other?
Absolutely. There you go.
Yeah, Janet, that was just, you know, I was at the edge of my seat just looking at the beautiful work that you've created. And what I got from you was two things, kind of one thing, but two things. That the work that you do with jewelry provides healing and beauty for people. And you also provide website work for people in the space of health and wellness. It helps shine a light on them to grow. So really what you're doing is you have this comprehensive gift to the world that gives people a light individually and then shines that light bright for more to see. And I just love what you do. And I'm so grateful that I'm connected with you. And thank you for what you do, really. It's beautiful.
Thank you. That makes my heart full. Thank you.
Absolutely. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Janet? I'm sure that she'd be happy to hear from you. Miss Carol Montgomery, yes, please.
Her stuff is so amazing. I have one. Unfortunately, it is in the safe deposit box of a local jeweler, and I can't get at it at the moment. But I have one that is my talisman. It's a beautiful rainbow moonstone, and she just does such lovely work. I just love to wear it. In fact, I should go and get one of yours that is in my bedroom and come back and show people. Carolyn and Jana, do you have any pieces that you've got to hand?
Well, I was thinking about that, Carol, but there's so many, I wasn't sure what to choose from, and I was gonna go next. So I just wanted to say that Jana is truly amazing. She has been so instrumental in helping Jana and I on so many levels. And Brian, I think you captured her perfectly, beautifully, because it is this such a natural blend, that how she produces these gorgeous pieces, and then also just that external piece that she creates for us, for example, for Holistic Institute, to be able for us to shine outwardly and to, you know, be the lighthouse, so to speak, so that people can find us. So, you know, I said this to Janet several months ago, that I was taking an inventory of all my jewelry, and I think I only have like 1 or 2 pieces that are not made by her. So, and each piece that she has made, you know, I have some custom pieces that she's made for me. And then of course, some pieces that she's made that I just fell in love with, that I just had to have. And, but I wear them with like, each day I wear them with intention, and I pick that piece. So it's become, her pieces are like a part of me. And I pick a piece that, depending on what I'm feeling for the day, that I want to carry through, whether that's being grounded or whether I'm feeling like I need more personal energy, but to still be able to be in service to the world, you know. So each piece I have does have a different stone, does have a different meaning. And I truly walk in those intentionally every day. And I know Jana does as well. So I do.
I love it. Thank you, Carolyn and Janet. Beautifully said. Thank you. Carol M., did you want to say one more thing?
Deborah?
Am I Carol Ann?
Carol M.
M.
M from
Deborah, go first,
Montgomery.
then I'll chip in. So Deborah's up next.
Go ahead, Deborah.
I've got several of Janet's pieces, and I find that where it's multi-layered. You know, there's the layer from Janet, there's a layer for the wearer, but I'm a realtor, so I get to meet people a lot. And then I think every single time I wear a piece that Janet has somebody. It's not always female, it's often children. Can I hold that? Can I touch that? Can I? So, and I've got a current client, and they've got a 2-year-old, and he's on the spectrum somewhere, and he's got some very interesting behaviors, and he notices big details. And I saw him on Friday. He's like, "Where's your purple? Where's your purple? No purple today." And he noticed that somehow I was always wearing the purple. So I saw them yesterday and wore the purple. He took hold of it and just went. So obviously he needed that energy. So it's a multi-layered energy. It doesn't just sit with the wearer.
Thank you, Deborah. What a beautiful moment. Thanks for sharing that. I see. So this is now Deb, just DEB. There you go. Go for it. You're still muted.
Okay, okay, now I got it. All right, I too have many pieces that Janet has made me, probably less than Carolyn, but a couple of them that have really, really helped me is I lost my husband a couple years ago, and she gave me a couple for grief, and I can't tell you how much that helped me deal with my grief. I wore it all the time. I put it under my pillow at night. So the way she infuses these with her energy and the energy of the universe just really helps the wearer. So I can't say enough about these pieces because they really do help you. They're just not beautiful. They help you emotionally and physically. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you for sharing that. Mary Harris, love to hear from you.
Oh, wonderful. It's fabulous to be here. Janet, I don't have any of your pieces, but I have you now.
Thank you.
I'm very clear that I have you, and I'll be in touch. And you're just a delight. Yeah, your presence, your consonance, your vibration. I'm so very glad that I haven't been to the coffee house in a while, and I had to be here this morning. And I'm glad that I followed my intuition and followed my guidance, and that I'm here. And thank you for presenting yourself to us. I'm very, very much blessed by it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. This is why we do what we do, right? So Mary is in Minnesota, you're in Knoxville, and now your hearts are connected, and that's why we do this. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Carol M., I saw you waving at me again.
I know, I've been waving at you a lot. Okay, the reason that Carolyn and Deb and I have got so many pieces is that we are in a mastermind group together, and we get show and tell, and it's so tempting. I mean, these things come around and you, oh, that's mine. So I wanted to show you this piece, which I think is Socialite. Is that right, Janet?
Yep.
And it's so, I love the way she does the edges. It's just so beautiful. I think that was my first or second piece. So anyway, I love it.
Thank you, Carol. Thanks for showing. Anyone else with a comment or a question for Janet? Oh, yeah, Megan, go ahead.
No, I really just want to say thank you. And your sense of beauty and the way that you've brought it into the world is so important, because beauty, I mean, you can say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that may be true, but when there's the essence of beauty, which you seem to have a sense of, we can all relate to that. And we all can see a piece of your jewelry and go, oh my God, how beautiful it is. And that brings a harmony. So I just thank you for that, for the work that you do.
Thank you, Megan. Beautifully said. I love that. Pat Hanbury, our friend from Talk About Connecting, Reno, Nevada, right? Ish?
Yep.
Yep.
And guess we were just out rock collecting on Friday. Janet, I just have to tell you, I studied geology in college, so I know a lot about the earth, and I am really connected to Gaia. And we like to go out and collect rocks. It's easy out here in the desert because they're all laying around. You can hike around and pick up, and we got a bunch of jasper and petrified wood at this one site. But I just absolutely love your work and the energy that I know, back in the day when I was in college, I would scoff at all of this energy and crystal things. But as I've learned through reading about quantum mechanics and physics and all that kind of stuff, everything is energy. You get all the way down to the vibrations in ASEA. I mean, everything is all connected throughout the whole vastness of the universe. So it's just I just love it. And I will be checking you out, my dear, because I'm definitely going to need some infused. I do have a lot of things. One of my favorite is tourmaline. But we've been having fun and we've been tumbling stones and doing things. So maybe there might be something that I might like that I might send to you for you to do something with. That would be great fun.
Brian, if I may, I
Yes.
was just going to say, and Pat, I'm so glad you said that at the end. I love doing custom work. When I choose a stone or a crystal, if I'm searching for pieces to work with, I can pick a piece up and I have an idea already somewhere in my head of what I could do with it. If somebody gives me something they found, it's like a whole new, like, oh wow, what can I do with this? Because I didn't choose it. So it's a whole different process for me, and I love doing that. So I would be delighted.
Oh, great. I am excited. Yes, we have a lot of things going on around here. And
Yeah.
and I may even have some pieces that I have that you could do something different with that I already, you could take it out of something or add to it, whatever.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Well, see, Brian, this is exactly why we have this.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Connecting,
Great.
creating, and collaborating. Hearts and minds coming together to create impact in the world, being a force for good. Thank you, Janet, for
You're
your
welcome.
beautiful soul, for offering us this incredible gift. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, Carolyn, did you want to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention one more thing because Janet and I've talked about it and didn't want it to go unmentioned, is that she also can clear your pieces long distance for you. So like if your jewelry needs like that extra infusion, it's part of how she uses her Reiki. So I just wanted to mention that because I know it, I just didn't want it to go unmentioned because that's a valuable service. Because one of the things that I know after I've worn my pieces after a certain amount of time, it's really important to cleanse them because those stones are working in your favor to help you, negate the energy fields around, in the sense of you not picking up too much of the collective energy. And so sometimes your stones are like your best friend in the sense that they'll absorb that energy so you don't. So it's really good to care for them just like you would care for yourself or an animal or a plant, realizing that they're living, breathing, pieces, kind of like what Pat said, in the sense that everything is connected and everything is from the earth. And so it's just important to keep everything clear and clean as you wear it as well.
Yeah, thank you for that, Carolyn. Great addition. Well, thank you everyone for participating. Just another wonderful coffee house. Thank you so much, Janet, for being our featured speaker. Thank you everyone for participating. And we do have a very special good news today. It's the first good news that we ever did. And it's a short video. And I think that for those that were with us at this time last year, it'll be very timely. And for those that this is a first time seeing it, I believe, again, it's very timely. And I ask that we all really connect into this space together so that we can carry forth the message that you're about to see. So give me a second to share my screen and just give me thumbs up that people can hear this.
Brian, can you enlarge it?
Screen, right, there you go.
What is pulsating in my entire being today is something that I've never heard of. I think it's unprecedented. I don't think it's ever happened, where the whole world is at home. Only God can do that. The whole world is at home. Doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter what time zone you're in. It doesn't matter today whether you are a Muslim or Christian or Hindu, whether you're an atheist or a Buddhist or a Jain or a Rastaman, doesn't matter at all. Today we are one. These times we are one. We are one, and we must win also. We are one. Today we are simply human beings. We have to put aside these superficial differences. There's no time for that. We are one, and we must act together and respect each other, to cooperate, to take on the same one thing that threatens us all. And I see that that is a great thing. It's a great moment for us. We must not fail. Fear is a very powerful agent, but he was not with us from the beginning. It is not fundamental or original to our nature to be afraid. Love is our nature, peace and joy, and an appreciation of what is right and what is good. These are the qualities, the perfume of our true nature. I see that this time, challenging as it is also offering us a new path. Not a new path as in necessarily difficult and strenuous, but a path of grace, a path that only God could have opened for us. Why fear comes is because we have moved away from our central nature. We have been so much impregnated with wrong kind of knowledge, very negative behavior, mindsets, attitudes, and so on. It's only in situations like this where we are compelled to pay attention that we stand a chance of really looking more deeply towards ourselves. Mostly, our attention in life is on the outward going momentum, going towards the sense objects, going towards things which are momentary in their nature, things to do with our egos, and fear also, fear of being without, fear of being disrespected, fear of being abandoned, fear of being at the bottom end of society, fear of being attacked, fear of becoming sick, fear of dying. All these things have in some way been imbued inside our nature. Now I would say that it is a beautiful opportunity to begin to change or to wake up, to discover what is real about us, what is true, and what is here. I've got great news to share with you, and that is that within you, in your pure nature, there is a place of real stillness and peace. a depth and a beauty that is far and beyond the world of fearfulness and insecurities and all the ailments that really trouble our species, human beings today. What I want to tell you today is that your true nature is not lost. It is not somewhere else in some divine vault away from you. It is right here in the very core of your heart. And God bless you that this coronavirus will do its work but come to an end. And we will continue to grow as human beings and indeed maybe even come to create a very wonderful world. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, just an invitation to touch someone with that energy today, every day. Thank you for participating.
It's 11:11, everybody.
There we go.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Bye.
Everyone.
Kisses.
Happy Sunday.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you,
very
Brian,
much.
Russell.
Thank
Megan,
you,
thank
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Hi there, Russell.
Thank
Now I
you.
know what they mean when they say have a blessed day.
Yes.
Gorgeous work, Janet.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Megan.
Bye, all.
Janet, I'll contact you.